Okay, folks, happy Friday morning. We're trying to get too excited because it's nowhere near the weekend. Well, just one day, but it should be a very challenging day. Unusual that I'm on during the week. It's been difficult to kind of do that in the mornings. Anyhow, we've done most nights this week, but a little difficult to do it in the morning. I have kind of a late morning start because I have the doctor. It's still first thing in the morning in the doctor, but it's a little bit later than the time I would go into the office. But we've got these two vehicles that we've been working on. I almost called this the McLaren. No, this is a Maserati MC20 and a lifted Oldsmobile 442. So that's what we're going to be working on. This is the Maserati is right out of the box. I haven't done anything to it other than give it a clear coat, a clear flat coat, and a very light brown wash to kind of make it not look uniform. I hate calling it modulation because that's just like a new freaking word. That didn't exist, dating myself, but that didn't exist in the 90s, or at least I didn't hear about it in the 90s. That's really what the brown wash is for, I think. That's why I use it. It's just to make everything look like it's a little different. Adds some personality. Even though you're adding the same color all the way across. You know, you're not adding a little bit more of the brown wash in one area than other. It's kind of pretty much uniform. But just by doing it and it kind of goes in the nooks and crannies and the undulations and things of the car, it just makes it look like it's not coming out of a showroom. Try to avoid it to look like a toy as much. That's the Maserati MC20. It is a premium. I want to say it's a Boulevard. It ran about $7 or $8, something like that. It's got rubber tires, kind of wasted on that, but it is what it is. We're not going to do wheel swaps or anything like that. The wheels are too fucking nice. This is going to be for the Scuderia Rustica, so it'll be one of the vehicles from that team. And we're going to give this thing a black lining. And then we're just going to go back and forth between them. So first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need, and it's going to get this laser. It's going to get this laser. I'm not going to mount it on the roof. It looks a little too much of the same. We're going to put it on the passenger side. Okay, it's going to be glued here to the side. Let's go ahead and primer this. So that way when we get around to the point where we're going to paint this, it's good to go. And before I primer it, let's take off any flash this may have. Now, I did not have a very successful painting session last night. It was a combination of being tired and I just picked the wrong time to go on. I mean, I put what time is best for me, and then, you know, if people want to show up, they show up, and, you know, hopefully we're motivating each other. That's it. Hardly any flash. A little bit of interaction is all I need just to kind of stay on track. And sometimes if you don't get that, then it's hard to stay awake, so to speak. But I went to bed extremely early last night because I was tired. And I woke up on my own extremely early, which reminds me I got to turn off my alarm I have an alarm set for 5. We don't need that. I I think we'll be okay. My 5 o'clock wake-up call. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. If I made a second cup of coffee, I probably could have stayed awake. Which is, I think, what happened the previous night, which explains why I was so damn tired. Well, like I've said before, I'll try to do this every chance I get. And sometimes it works out for everybody else. Sometimes it doesn't. It's all good. We all have other lives other than doing this all day, unfortunately. But we got some cool stuff that'll be coming up in the next week, including this. I'm not super excited about this Maserati. I'm excited about getting another Italian vehicle out there. I'm not super excited about it because it's just basically stock. And the reason it's stock is, why would you spend $8 on a car and chop it up, right? We've got plenty of other vehicles to chop up, especially ones that are already damaged or they've been played with or what have you. I don't mean by me. I just mean, they've been damaged. I don't like to plan too far in advance. Like, okay, in a week we're going to work on this project. This is what we're going to do. I kind of like to wing it a little bit. I do a lot of planning at work, and I'd rather not. This hobby doesn't pay enough for me to worry about that kind of stuff. All right. Now, that's the primer. There are some black, and I'm not going to touch anything else on here. Obviously, we are going to weather it. We are going to put black lining on it to make those panels pop so you can see them 2-3 feet away. This car, on the other hand, I want to keep calling this a Chevelle, but I guess they're all kind of related to each other one way or another, and I don't necessarily know the I don't know the what would be the correct way to call it. The family tree, the lineage of these vehicles. I'm not a car expert. Never will be. It's not my point of interest. But if they were talking about some form of a Panzer IV, yeah, I'd be able to tell you that, it came from this, and this one's a little bit different. This has a different turret. I'd be able to tell you the difference between an Oldsmobile 442 and a Chevelle, or a Nova, how a Chevelle and a Nova is. I can go online and figure it out. Cars that are similar to each other. Obviously, this and a Mustang is not the same, but there's a lot of cars that are very similar. Of that 67, maybe even 66 to 72, 73 period. There's a lot of cars that I look at them and I kind of put it in the same category. Right, and they might have some visual differences, but they're American muscle cars that are let's just say General Motors, right? Because the General Motors cars and the Ford cars aren't that confusing. And same thing, Mopar ones. There's some overlap. So this thing was originally looked like this. I don't know how I got this. I think I got this recently, like last weekend, at that one shop that just had all kinds of stock. It's one of the 55 cars. And the only reason I say that is because it was towards the top of the bin of the things of my stock. So because of that, and it is an older car. It's a 2015. Older, not that old, but there's something to scan here. What's this supposedly do? Hot Wheels Showdown. I have no idea what this is. Maybe we'll do this later. Message and data rates may apply. Anyhow, this is towards the top of the bin, so I suspect this is a vehicle that I got last week. But it's been completely repainted. We stripped it. I put the stripper before I went to work yesterday. Before I went to work yesterday morning, we stripped it. Finished cleaning it up when I got home. Polished it with a Dremel and primed and repainted. And the repaint is really fucking nice, honestly. All we've done to it is added 2 shades of gold. They're 2 different colors. I want to say, most of it is Vallejo Old Gold, I believe is what it's called. And then just the standard gold on top of it, a little bit. And I kind of wish I'd taken a video of it, because these metallic colors, when you put them through the airbrush, are really interesting the way that they spray. It's almost like you can really see the little metal flakes. And excuse my ignorance, but I honestly don't know if they actually have some kind of metal flake in them or anything. But it's definitely, it comes out like powdered paint or something like that. It's really, really interesting the way it comes out. But it's got one coat of the old gold, obviously primered in black. One coat of the old gold, and then I didn't even clean it out. I just put some of the brighter gold on there and went over some of the highlights. And I don't know if I had not done that and put them side by side, if I'd be able to tell the difference, or they would just look like just more of the same. But this is actually, I went through the previous night. I knew I was going to do this car, and I did a search on what colors this car was available originally, and it's available it was available in a color like this. Let me see if I can, the picture that I have here of it. I think I saved it. I saved a shitload of pictures. And this is what we're going to paint this one like. At least this is what the body of it is going to look like. It's almost kind of it's a gold, but it's not bright bling gold. It's almost a little bit of a brown type color. It's pretty similar to this, okay? And we're going to give this the black accents where it has the black accents, like on the roof. Why is this not sitting? Could be a dent here. No, it's close enough. Okay. I don't even know what the hell this is going to be armed with. Right now, I'm just going to focus on what the car has on it. So, we've got some things that we need to do to it in the form of painting the roof black. We've got black that needs to go over these intakes. And I think that's it on the black part. So it's not glued down completely. I think I am going to put the window on it because I have a car that's similar to this one, and it's the one that I call the Redneck Riviera. And the Redneck Riviera is a slightly different color. It's the original color it came in. It's almost more of a amber color, almost maybe even orange. To a certain extent, it's more like an orange. And it doesn't have the windows in. So let's mix it up a little bit. They're not supposed to be kissing cousins or anything like that. So let's do a couple things on here and make it happen and make this thing a thing of beauty. Especially if you're like into classic cars. I'm historically, I don't like American domestic cars. Historically. However, I'm coming around. And I don't want to personally drive one of them. I mean, they're just cool to look at. I like the history of them. I have no interest in having any of them. Good, because they're expensive. But, I'm personally not a fan of cars that don't have great handling. I think handling is obviously I don't want a slow vehicle, but handling is over, raw horsepower. Like a car, you can't like gut it. because otherwise it'll slip all over the place. I want it to like hold to the ground, right? If you're going in a straight line, your car shouldn't be moving all over the place. And, you know, a lot of these cars are, well, for lack of a better term, almost too fast for their own good. You know, this particular vehicle, I looked it up. Its 0 to 60 is 5.7 seconds. That's fast as shit in 1970. That's a really fast car. Now, are there faster cars? Yeah, but I'm just saying for a standard-ish type car, that's a pretty fast car. I mean, it's heavy. I mean, it's got a pretty big engine, but you know it handles like the freaking Bismarck with one of the propellers out, one of the rudders out. Bismarck has 3 rudders. I think 3 rudders, one in the middle, 2. Whatever. It doesn't handle great, you know. So, but I do like the look of these cars, and I'll say it again. I think they're the best cars for Gaslands. I mean, they definitely invoke this this appeal of badassedness, I guess, you know. I'm going to go ahead and do the suspension down here too, also in this color. Now that I've wet my dry brush. But there's a lot of these General Motors type cars that, you know, because I'm not a car person. I mean, I understand. I know more about cars than a lot of people. There are worse car people than me. There are some people that don't even want cars. They want to be. They would love it if they got driven anywhere. I'm not that way. I'm all in favor of manual transmission. But you know, I don't have a garage or anything like that where I can work on vehicles or something like that. I kind of wish I did, but I didn't do that with my dad. I didn't have that kind of dad. I had a different kind of dad. I'm not complaining about my dad. I had a different kind of dad. I never really got into sports. I didn't have a dad that was into sports. He didn't watch sports. He didn't like throw the ball with me. That's what's wrong with me. I didn't have a dad that threw the ball with me. My dad put the fire in me for history, maps, and things of that nature. So, you know, those of you people that can't find yourself out of the neighborhood, well, you probably had a dad that could throw the ball with. That's what you get. But there are several of these General Motors cars in the same period that all look very similar to the untrained eye. Now, I've gotten better. I appreciate all the nooks and crannies and things that they have, but you know, at first glance, you know, a Chevy Nova and a Chevelle are very similar. You know, Pontiac GTO, this Olds 442, they have a very similar shape. You know, you're not going to get them confused with a Mustang. You're not going to get them confused with, you know, a Thunderbird or something like that. You know, sometimes the Fords and the Mopars are similar. You know, you'll go through the Hot Wheels and go like, oh, that's a cool looking, I don't know, Ford Fairlane or something like that. And then, you know, at glance, then you go, oh no, that's actually a Chrysler 330 or something like that. You know, similar body style, shapes, grills. That's the kind of stuff. You pop the engine, who knows what the hell's inside, right? I'm not an expert. I just don't know enough about it. Just like most people go on there, it's like, oh, that's obviously not a Panther, it's a Panzer IV. Well, you can't tell the difference between a Panzer IV D and an H? No, they can't. Well, I can. You know, it's just repetition and, you know, and having an interest in it. That's why, as much as I like all these fantasy cars for Gaslands, I do like these real vehicles that I know that they're put in an environment that's not real. But I like going in there and, you know, I'll buy cars and I look up how much horsepower, how fast it goes from 0 to 60. That's always that's my relatable point. You know, it doesn't matter how much horsepower something has if it weighs like a battleship. Like, oh, that car's got like 400 horsepower. Man, it's a lot. Yeah, well, it weighs 7 tons. So it's not a lot. Well, it's still the same amount of horsepower. You're just not getting up and going. So it's fun with the internet to learn about shit. You know, to learn about new stuff, to make your brain bigger. I've said this before. I've been gaming a long time. And the big draw for me is you're learning shit. You know, you're learning shit while you're playing a game. I want to play a game that's very realistic because you'll learn, if the game is designed correctly, you're learning about real things that really happened as you're participating in it. And, you know, and you're making decisions in the game. You're not just like, you're watching a documentary. What decision do you have to make? When to turn the fucking TV off? You know? You're like actually learning real stuff. Hopefully. That's part of the appeal for me, you know? It's just like reading. I didn't like reading in school. Oh, you don't like reading? No, I don't like reading the bullshit that they wanted me to read. Like Oliver Twist. Like, who gives a fuck about that? It's not that I want to read children's books or comic books, but there's like stuff that interests me, you know? It'd be like if you went to music class, right? Oh, this is music appreciation class. And let's say the teacher had a thing for bluegrass. And if you're like me, who hates bluegrass, like that's all you're listening to all day long. I don't want to listen. I don't want to listen to something that doesn't interest me. There's lots of other sounds. Like, why does it have to be what I'm interested? What you're going to show me? Same thing with books. I like reading. I think reading is really interesting, but there's lots of subjects that just don't interest me. I'm sure there's somebody out there that loved all the reading assignments that they had in school, but I haven't met them yet. And then, of course, there's some people that claim they don't like to read at all. You know, oh, I don't like to read books. Books are stupid. Well, have you tried a different... I mean, I agree. The subject they made you read in school, I freaking hated those things, but there's lots of stuff that I'm interested in reading about. So, okay. So, we've got that done. We do have some black portions of this that we need to put on. I don't know if I'm going to use... I got half of mine to use primer. I think I'm going to use primer because it's so damn thin. This piece of... And I think I put some of this out here. Did it dry out already? Where did it go? I'm trying to use up this last little bit. Oh, you know what? I just took it from the cap. Well, let's just do that. But just like anything else, one thing I've noticed that there's a lot of car people that, like, there's Ford people that like can't stand anything Dodge or Mopar. I guess that's what I should call it. We were covering, well, you had General Motors, Mopar, and I guess the Fords are all the same family or whatever. And likewise, there's people that can't stand Fords. There's people that can't, you know. There's vehicles I wouldn't want to drive, but there's a lot of things I can appreciate. I don't have any preference. There's certain models of certain cars certain years of certain cars that I personally don't care for. Aesthetically, let's just say aesthetically. Speaking of Mustangs, I think a Boss Mustang, what years are they? 68 to 72 or something like that. I could get it wrong. It might be like only 70s or, you're stupid, man, it's only 69, 70. I'm not a car expert. I just look at pictures and sometimes see that's a really good looking car. Those Boss Mustangs, really attractive vehicle. The lines on the vehicle, super attractive. They might look like ass on the inside, I don't know, but super attractive vehicle on the outside. The early Mustangs, the 65, 66s, I think they're really unattractive. They're just like they're slim in all the wrong places. I don't know. I wouldn't say they're an ugly car. I gotta save that for like some cars from the 1950s. I don't like 1950s cars. I think they're very unattractive. The Eisenhower cars. Aesthetically on the outside. Okay, now the only problem with using this is if you thin this with water, it behaves weird. All right, so let's try to do this as realistically as we can. The entire roof, and I'm actually I may need more than this. But there's a lot of people that just, get in an argument. There's too many people that get into arguments about stuff. There's too many people. They just must not have enough work to do. I just, I don't understand it. I've never been into, I'm not a sports fan. And maybe it just comes natural to some people. But if you find somebody that's into something else that you're into, why are you fighting amongst yourselves? Like, you guys should, cooperate. Maybe it's just human nature. And this gold turned out really, really nice. But I'm not historically a car person, but I could be, because part of me almost wants to say, fuck Gaslands. Right? Let's just buy these models and make them look more realistic. Because a lot of these really are a work of art. This little Hot Wheels or whatever. So, just do stuff like this, just like repaint it. I don't know if I'd want to do it showroom. I want it to make it look like it's been used, like it's been driven around. It doesn't need to look like it was in a dumpster fire. Fuck, that looks good. Okay. I need to take a. Let me see. Let me see if I can. I have that picture. Oldsmobile 442, black roof, picture from the rear.
I can't show you images.
Okay.
But you might find...
Why can't you show me images? I just want to know where the black ends. What a cool car. So you think, here's the problem when I'm talking with people. You think, okay, well, I've kind of started getting a love for cars because of, collecting Hot Wheels and repainting them and learning about the cars and everything. Let me go to a car show. You go to a car show and half the people there are just assholes. They're trying to outdo each other. They're playing this Keeping Up with the Joneses game, which is a game I refuse to play. I've never played it, and I refuse to play it. I'm not impressed by shit people buy, I'm not saying I want to hang out with the homeless people. I'm just saying that, buying shit isn't a hobby. And at least in my limited experience of going to car shows, there's a lot of people that I just don't want to hang out with. Instead of having it's just a sense of camaraderie and, lift each other up and, try to see the good in things other people have. It's just like this competitive, and they were just like, oh, you have something that, you're trying to outdo me. And I'm like, I'm not playing that kind of, I'm not interested in that. That's just not me. That's not what I'm there for. Let me make sure I get this right, the correct angle where this black starts and the black ends. I guess it would work on the white as well. God, a lot of these look really, really cool. I said, part of me almost is like, you know what? Let's just paint them in the original color. And I don't know if anybody can even find that relatable, what I'm talking about, but it's a hobby. It should be relaxing. It should be a way to connect with other people to find commonality, things that you have in common with, not find out about more people you dislike. You know? We're gonna put this in a chrome color. So let's put this black down over it. I like putting black underneath silver colors. Makes it pop. Makes it stand out more. And it also make it less gold. Makes it look a little slightly different. All right, then we're going to go ahead and take this time to go ahead and paint the base black on the turn signal and the door handle. Now, I could have painted this however you want. And sometimes, like, let's see what it looked like coming out of the factory. It's not like we're not going to weather it or anything. I'm not going to put any stripes on it because that other car did not have any stripes. So this is what it is. Instead of being all black, we've got the roof that's, instead of being all gold, we've got the roof that's black. And these two intakes on the engine are also black. Like that particular example of the picture. Yeah, I like the picture. I like what they did with it. I like what they did with it. Now, can I safely grab this and put it on here? That looks fucking great, man. I'm happy with that. Obviously, we need to enhance the chrome parts and things like that as we need it. Okay, let's set that off to the side. Let's go ahead and do the black lining with dark tone. You know, I might get both of these guys done before I have to go to the doctor. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not in a hurry, but we do this to accomplish things, not to not accomplish things. There we go. All right, we're going to use this right out of the container. I'm actually going to do this a little bit different. And I've done this before. I'm just going to take black. I'm going to water it down. And sometimes I just want it to be thicker. Just craft paint. To be honest with you, this is not a great model, considering it's a premium car. It's got some of the same issues a cheaper car would have, and that's you have some kind of a line, and then it just kind of ends. It doesn't like go all the way to the edge. So you and this will happen with like miniatures and stuff like that. You'll be like, hey, there's this line, and where the hell does it go? All right, the olds. In some ways, this is a better casting than the other one. Well, I took the paint off. I took the paint off this thing. And sometimes the paint they put on this thing is like fingernail polish thick. I took it off. We primed it, which is very thin paint. And then I airbrushed it. Very thin. I paint very thin. It doesn't need to have a thick coating. You're just covering up with details. And I specifically switched these large knobby tires this vehicle came with, because those are the same knobby tires that the Redneck Riviera has. So I don't want them to be too. I don't want them to be too similar. And even though we painted this, we're doing black lining around it to kind of add the shadows. Fuck, that looks good. Just a little bit of a shadow, so the little details will pop. This might end up being one of my favorite cars. All right, let's pop this off. And let's paint the grill. Let's not go to the full color. Let's go halfway there. Full color, I mean by using mithril silver. What's this? Iron Warriors? No, it's the dark one. What's the one in the middle somewhere? is it this one? Lead Belcher. And I also have, I think it's this one I was thinking of. Iron Breaker. Yeah. Iron Breaker is the one I thought about. Actually, I am going to use this one. So I can do the frames around the chrome that's going to be around it. I don't want to just throw this chrome on the black. I've seen people do these and like they use like tape and stuff to tape down. I'm like, I'm better off just hand painting it. This is, I don't want to say child's play, but it's child's play compared to like painting faces or something like that, you know. All right, so on here, I want to leave a little bit of the black around there. Makes it pop. Okay, and I believe there is chrome across the bottom. There is. $5:30 is pretty early. I woke up at like, I think it was actually before 4. Actually before 4. But I went to sleep like at fucking 9. You know? Good morning. You got to work today? And I'm also waking up to do something I want to do. It's not like, I'm waking up and doing, you know. Actually, I started the laundry. Oh, looks like there's chrome around these. I don't know. I don't know that I want to do. I don't know that I'm going to do that. I don't. You can have too much chrome on something. Yeah, this is what this fucker looked like before. You always have to work on Fridays? Let's see what the back window of this thing looks like. Like I said, I almost could just say, you know what, fuck Gaslands. We're just going to repaint these. We're going to take these models of these Gaslands and just make them look more realistic. But, you know, but no, we're not going to do that. Because half the fun is coming up with the snazzy names from it. Okay, here's one. Does this have chrome? It does, all the way across the back. That's not molded on there. There's no like discernible line. And some people will be like, oh, it's a GM product, piece of shit. I like Fords, it's like, yeah, just are you on the payroll for you're on a payroll for one of these companies? All right, now we'll take well, I always say TGIF was created by some fucker that worked 410s. I think it's the hardest day of the week. I'm tired. Now, mine's a little unusual. I have a doctor's appointment today. I want to make it as early as I can, and the time they give me is like, I bet you guys could do earlier, but I'm not going to go into work, get dirty, and then go to the doctor, for like 30 minutes, and then go to work, and then go to the doctor's office, so... This thing's... It's giving me some closure that I didn't ask for. Let's pull some of this out. Now you can go back in here. Go back away. All right, let's look at the front grille here. So, I'm like, I couldn't stay awake any longer last night unless I had more coffee, which would have been a bad idea. So I just went to bed like at 9. It might have even been before 9. So I was up before 4. Barely. So it's like, well, it's an opportunity to do something productive. It's like a catch-22, I wake up early, so it's hard for me to stay awake, so I wake up early, so, it's... And most people are the other way. Like, everybody that I know that's retired, I was sold this bill of goods that's bullshit. I was sold this bill of goods that when people got older, they would wake up early and go to bed early, right? And older meaning older than me. People in their 60s and 70s, right? They're up early at the ass crack of dawn. When I was in my 20s, yeah, I'd sleep until 11 on the weekend. But I'd stay up till like 2 or 3 in the morning. Well, when I could stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning, I don't. Like, that screws up your whole system for going to work, I used to, like, go to work at a job that, my part-time job, the place didn't open till 10. Well, that's fucking lunchtime almost. By today's standards. So, you can't stay up late, so you'll wake up early. And it's just like a vicious cycle. Same thing, like, I know people, oh, I can't believe you get up before 11 o'clock. Like, I got responsibilities, man. All the people I can think of right off the bat that are older, they don't wake up early. They stay up super late. Like, I don't want to work on the stuff that I want to work on when I'm fucking tired. Like I don't want to say, okay, it's hobby time at 10 p.m. Like, F that. I'm like ready to go to bed. Like, there's some things that I do at work that are like anything that involves like fine calculation, like I don't want to do that at the end of the day. I'm like burned out. Like my brain's like tired of thinking. Like the billing stuff. I don't do the billing stuff late in the day. You're going to have, it just takes that much more effort to stay on track, on topic. Nothing's like intense math, but I'm just saying it just makes it more difficult. So that's what we're told. Older people, they go to bed early. Not the older people I know. Maybe older people with responsibilities. Older people that were upstanding members of society. It's not a different wavelength. And I'm also used to, like, if I'm doing something, I want caffeine. I want coffee. I don't give a shit about alcohol. I really don't. Like, I don't want somebody telling me I can't have a drink. I have a fucking problem with that. That'd be like somebody saying, you guys can't eat any more olive oil. Fuck you. That's my people, right? Like, I don't have no problem with alcohol. But if I never drank again, I wouldn't care. I just don't want somebody telling me I can't drink, because I honestly behave better when I drink. But that's just me. But, like, I have caffeine because I want to get shit done. I can't have caffeine if my hobby time's at 10. Like, I'll be up. I'll be up till 6 in the morning. You went to bed at 11. See, that's not unreasonable. That's like, my normal bedtime, if the wife is around, and the wife has not been around for a week or so. Not that she would keep me from doing everything, but I can be a lot louder. I'm not concerned about waking her up when she's not here. My normal bedtime would be 10. 9:45 to 10:30. Something like that. Eleven's pretty reasonable. If you're going to sleep after midnight every night, you must not have a normal job. I just, and they say this thing, oh, I work 9 to 5. Who the fuck goes to work at 9 o'clock in the morning? Like, that's like late. For years, got to be at work at 7:30, right? And now they've dialed it up to like, if it's a Monday, got to be at work before 7 because we got a meeting every Monday at 7. Which is okay. It's better than having that early morning meeting on a fucking Friday. That's happened before. Like, if there's one night to wake up early, that's easy to wake up early, it's Friday. It's Monday. Like, you've been rested over the weekend, hopefully. So I think after I'm done with these two vehicles, the next thing I want to try is to build a dragster. And I think that's what I'm going to do with the Formula One cars. I have a couple of Formula One cars that are like make-believe Formula One cars. I think I'm going to try that. I'm loving this. This is fucking great. I'd almost want to go to a car show. Almost. There's decent people there, but there's just and the same thing happens, the hobby show. You go to a hobby show, most people I don't want to interact with. They're weird. or just dicks, or both. Same thing if you're going to the gun range, or if you're going to, cars or anything like that. Everybody's trying to outdo each other. Nobody can say anything nice about anybody else. I just don't want to be around those kind of people. I'm sure boat people are the same way. Oh, you only have a 27-foot boat? Ah, you should get a 35 like me. You're not a man. Shit like that. Like, come on, I don't need that crap. Not that I'm going to have a boat ever. But I'm probably going to do, with irony, I'm probably going to take a Formula One car and put huge tires on it. Like big knobby tires like this. Just see what it looks like. Maybe not this one, because they're for that. They're for Hoff the cough. Yeah, we haven't forgotten about you. We will get to you. Get what ice? 6. Let's go make another coffee. This thing looks special. Another iced coffee, as you say. I don't drink warm shit, even in the wintertime. I haven't even had breakfast yet. Yeah, I could probably do this till about 7:30. What's that? More another hour and a half? I should be able to get both these cars done by then. Not that I'm in a hurry or anything, but if I get these done, I can think about a new project when I get home. Maybe that Formula One thing. I do have an extra actual Formula One car, the Aston Martin, and I may convert that one. I don't want to break open one of the sets yet, but I got a loose Aston Martin the other day at Publix, and I may convert that into a play on words of one of the cars. I already know what I'm going to call it. I just don't know. I don't know what it's going to be equipped with. A dragster, but I think a dragster is just like, a dragster is a good race to have just a bunch of dragsters. Like everybody has a dragster. Because you need a special track for them. You got to hit that nitro every turn. I mean, it'd probably be funny. I guess it'd get tired after a while, after everybody explodes. But come on, you can do it. Because just turning Formula One cars into another performance car category just seems kind of lame. Especially because dragsters take very little damage, and Formula One cars look like they just, You know, you sneeze on them and they would just fall into a bunch of different pieces. Compared to something else that looks hardy. They don't look hardy. They don't look hardy at all. Hardly at all. All right, if we're going to paint the headlamps, we probably need to do that before I do that. All right, let's get some, where's my white? I still have some of the black here? Yes. One of you guys was mentioning, I forget which one it was talking about. It might have been Hoffman. It was talking about, gaming, that people didn't know about games and stuff like that. And they made some kind of a comment that kind of struck me. I was kind of surprised by it. But then, I don't necessarily live and I don't really think about, some things just don't make any sense to me. And the comment was something along the lines, most people don't know anything about gaming other than playing Monopoly. And I'm like, that's really fucking sad. That would be like, if you want to watch sports and you don't know about any sports other than football. It's the same it's the same thing as the reading assignment in school. Like, I like reading. I just don't want to read Oliver Twist or Lord of the Flies or some, I've got tons of books. I like to read. I like to learn shit. I just don't want to learn the shit you want me to learn. That's not like I'm doing it for a living or anything. It's not like, well, you signed up to be, the Oliver Twist expert. Well, you better read the fucking book, right? It's just entertainment for me. Well, my wife says that she likes to read for entertainment. I like to read for knowledge. I do. It's fun to learn. I just don't want to read about, like, politics. I don't want to read about, all kinds of stuff. I can't be interested in everything. I think we actually... No, this color's probably okay. This color's probably all right. It's not too dark yet. Don't have a lot of space to work with here, though. Yeah, I'll do like the mini-me version of this. I could have painted the silver first. The chrome first. Like, I've been watching racing recently, so I found somebody who was into racing, but they're in a NASCAR. Like, it's just so hard. It's so hard to find somebody that is interested in the stuff that you're interested in, no matter what it is. And then, they've got to, like, be a reasonable person, because too many people are like zealots. Like, maybe they're like in the NFL or something like that, and this is like a college town area, right? Like, anybody who's interested in, like, talking about the Gators or whatever, you could find somebody around the corner. Even some 87-year-old lady, she's got orange and blue underwear on, easy to find stuff like that. But just use as an example. So, maybe you're interested in taking a look and see what these the back of this looks like. All right, we're going to need some dark red. So you find somebody that maybe is interested in something that you're interested in, but then they're like a zealot. They're like, they can't just appreciate what's happening. They're like, that guy got screwed, and because there's a lot of people, like what I've noticed with sports, there's a lot of people that want to win at all cost. Like, they don't care if the rules get broken and they cheat, steal, rob, whatever. A win's a win, and I disagree. I just coming from a competitive aspect, if you cheated to win, it's not really a win. Like, who are you fooling? Because at the end of the day, if you're doing like wargaming and stuff like that, you're not around a group of people that there's a lot of you, right? It's an elite group of people to be a wargamer. No, I'm just saying there's not a lot of people. Most of the time, you don't have anybody to share your experience with other than yourself. So if you cheat, you knew you cheated. So who are you fucking fooling, But people that are sports fans that are zealots, good morning, Hoffman. No work today? Doctor's appointment. That's much later, not much later, but later than I go to work. So I'm good for another hour and a half probably. And I woke up early, but I went to sleep at 9. You weren't around, so I went to sleep at 9. There was no reason to stay awake. No, I was tired, man. I woke up early the day before, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to sleep at 9. Yeah. So I was up I think before 4 on my own. I wake up, I'm like, what time is it, man? I gotta pee. Oh, it's 3:45. And you're like, you realize I have too much energy to go back to sleep again. So fuck it, I'll stay up. Let's make it a positive day. Let's start painting, right? So I think I should be able to finish both of these. Not that I'm in a hurry. I'm just saying that, that allows me to work on something different tonight. Not that I don't enjoy working on this, but we're here to knock things out of the park, not to sit around and not get shit done. Like I told somebody at work way above my pay grade yesterday. I don't give a fuck if I make more money. I mean, obviously there's a limit to that. I want to do a good job at work. It feels good to do a good job. It does. It does. Saw you on about 3 minutes after you logged off yesterday. Never know the night streaming schedule. Yeah, I didn't text you because I didn't want you to feel like you have to get on. I stream when I can, every chance I get, and if it works for other people, it works for other people, and if it doesn't, we all have lives outside of this, I think. So, no worries. Hey, it allowed me to paint today, And the thing is, if it gets too late, I can feel myself fading. I'm like, well, I got to make another cup of coffee. I don't, that's the problem with staying up late is you end up having coffee. So I know you didn't love these wheels, but there's a couple things. I wanted to switch these wheels out that came originally. Let me show you the picture of it. Originally what it looked like. I wanted to switch these wheels out. And the reason why is because it looks too much like Redneck Riviera. Redneck Riviera has these same wheels. And I don't want these to be kissing cousins. So I actually wanted to put really small wheels on it. And then they were hitting this plastic at the bottom and didn't look right. If I do another one of these, I'll put the little small wheels on it. So I'm like, I've got these really big wheels from this. Remember I got that set and I ended up picking up more of these train things, okay? This is the wheel from the train. I had 2 other trains that I had no use for. So I'm like, fuck it, let's put those big, 93-inch spinners or whatever the hell they are on it. And I think it looks pretty decent. And then, I stripped it and then I primed it. I took the Dremel and got all the paint off and polished, which was actually a lot of fun to do. And then, this may be my favorite car. And then I looked at pictures, and I'm going to show you a picture, and it's not going to do it justice, because the human eye is just too advanced. I'll put them right here next to each other. See, right now I'm looking through the camera, it looks pretty good. I bet it's going to fuck with the color. No, it doesn't look bad. That's like a legitimate Oldsmobile 440. I can't believe I have an Oldsmobile 442. I was just talking about that on Monday. That I had a dream about it. So I am going to paint. I mean, it's like I said earlier. I could almost just say, you know what? I'm just going to repaint Hot Wheels and not put Gasland stuff on them. Now, I'm not going to do that, obviously, because then I give up on naming them, and that's honestly that's probably the I'm more interested in naming and coming up with the vehicle names than I am playing the game. That's like the biggest, that's like the biggest thrill for me. So, you were shopping with the missus. Yeah, I don't mind going shopping, especially this, because I can find these fuckers anywhere. I'll be like, where was I the other day? Oh, we were taking the daughter. She wanted to look at shoes. What's that place where you like buy one shoe, you get another one for like half off? Well, buy a pair. Would that be something? Do you want one shoe? It's full price, but the other one is if you only want one shoe. Who would buy that? Somebody who's an amputee? Amputee thinking they're getting screwed because they got to buy two shoes, even though they only have a left leg. What the hell they're going to do with a right hand shoe? Yeah, I specifically wanted to paint it like a real vehicle. And I wanted to look dissimilar to the Redneck Riviera. Let's pull up Redneck Riviera. They should look different. Of course, I don't know what the hell this thing's going to be armed with. It's not going to be armed with up and over because the tires aren't knobby. Let's get Redneck Riviera out here. But I got half a mind to work on a Formula One car if I get these two guys done. Yeah, see, it's a similar body style. Redneck Riviera, this is the original paint. This was a Johnny Lightning. I'm probably not going to armor the windows, just to make them dissimilar from each other, but they're like the same type of vehicle. The same type of vehicle. This actually, I think, is the wheels from the... Well, I guess the wheels aren't exactly the same. But these wheels I'm going to save that came from this vehicle, probably for a Formula One car. Because that's what, you want it to be... I mean, I'm not just going to run the Formula One cars with, like, regular wheels or whatever. Like, and I think we're going to try to build them as dragsters. Now, I don't think I'm going to use any of the real Formula One cars. I've got a couple of ones that are fakey Formula One cars. I may take one of the Aston Martins and convert it into something, and it'll be a play on one of the drivers. So, I might make Death Stroll out of it. There's one driver that's his name is I don't know what I'm saying. Nobody watches Formula One, but I didn't 6 months ago. So you have a dream about a car you don't have, and have a dream about a car you don't have and see if it appears. I don't get to pick what my dreams are about and see if they appear. If I did, then I'd wake up and bam, I have a harem. I don't get to pick my dream. My dreams really aren't that exciting. I got to be careful though. I might have a tornado up here. I have tornado dreams. I haven't had one in a while, but I'll have that kind of superpower. I don't have that kind of superpower, but I may take the Aston Martin and probably make Death Stroll out of it. One of the drivers, one of the teams, the Aston Martin team, was bought by this Canadian billionaire, and the guy is. He might be a nice guy, but he's portrayed almost like a Bond villain. He's very Bond villain-ish. And his son drives for the team, who is... People would say he has no talent, but you got to be really fucking talented to be a Formula One driver. I mean, not anybody can do that. I mean, it's a very elite group of people. If you say like, oh, this guy's a, terrible, whatever, fighter pilot or whatever. Like, it's like not everybody can be, you know, one of those things. But regardless, this guy is a neat Nepo baby type of guy. And his name is Lance Stroll. And I'm like, we can make it Death Stroll. So we'll put like skulls and shit on or whatever. Now, obviously, it's not him. It's just, so, you know, if you get it, it's one of them double entendres. If you know the inside scoop, you might get a chuckle from it kind of thing, you know. Could you have gas? I could. And I thought about, we haven't forgotten about Hoff the Cough. He's still over here. I just don't want to, I want this to look good. And I want to keep the whole Winston motif. So I've done, when I primered this, I primered it really thin, and it looked like the primer with a really thin coat could give the smoky appearance that I think I want to do on the top of this. I don't want to fuck it up, you know, but, yeah. And actually, we built this car, so there, you know, that one will be done. Off the Cough at some point. We just need to make it very dark, because he's gonna run with fuckers like this, right? This is a those guys, whatever the hell they're called, prophets of petrol. He's one of the deacons of the prophets of, the high priest of the prophets of petrol. So, all right. So at this point, what do we got left to do on this guy? We have weathering to do. Obviously, build it. This thing is just, actually, I haven't built this one, but this is just going to have a laser on it. I'm going to put the laser here on the side. But we're going to paint it first. And it's probably going to be, a good chunk of it is probably going to be white, so it ties into the color of this Maserati. But honestly, I'm more interested in doing this. So let's do a couple things. Let's get the juices percolating. Let's build a drag racer. Let's just see what kind of a drag racer you can get. And drag racers may be one of those vehicles, because I remember I've got different point categories. I've got the 50 pointers, which are like massive. And I've got some 35s. Almost all cars are 27. But then I have cars that are 13 or 14 points. And drag racers may be in that category of 13 or 14 points, because they're relatively cheap. And they only have one build slot. So let's take a look at them. I honestly have not had. And your Hoff the Cough actually probably will not be a drag racing car. It's probably a 35-point car. I mean, he's someone of substance. Okay? A dragster is not a vehicle of substance. It's almost like a Pinewood Derby. It's in a way. So let's pull up the rules here. And we're going to go all the way to the back. All right. And let's do a deep dive on, because this will give me something to think about. Look forward to it coming home. It's lightweight. They're all lightweight. They have 4 hull points. That's nothing. They have 4 hull points. They max gear is 6 and handling is 4. Which is, well, we can call them drag racers. They're not necessarily a drag racer type thing. You keep your drag racers pretty, I think you have to, or you're going to put a lot of eggs in a basket that just can break really easy, because they only take 4 points of damage. So I'm going to try to go for 13, 14 points. That's my mentality originally. Because I already had that point category. Like, I wouldn't make Hoff the Cough a vehicle whose hull points is 4. Like, that's just not acceptable. So it may look like a dragster. It's probably going to be a truck, to be honest with you. Truck type category. All right. Hand on a drag racer. Maximum gear 6, handling 4. Crew 1, that makes sense. Build slots 2. That's strange that they would have 2 build slots. But it does allow you to have, a flame or something like that, a flamethrowing weapon. Okay? It's got 1 more build slot. No, I guess it has the same amount of build slot than a performance car. Why did I think it only had 1 performance? Oh, because a compact car only has 1. It's not an official. The compact isn't an official vehicle. I don't care. I have several of them. I'm not running an official game. They're not paying me to run the fucking game. I can run it however I want, and I'm being reasonable. Okay, build slots. So it's got 2 build slots. Okay, cost 5. Now it's got jet engine, which means you gotta basically use the perpetual nitro every turn. You have a bottomless nitro that you have to hit every turn. So the one way to make the drag racer reasonable is, especially a drag racer might actually be a reasonable vehicle to use with like a bunch of heavyweight vehicles. This is just brainstorming. So if you're using a drag racer as an assistant vehicle or as a helpful vehicle with, like, say, heavy trucks. Heavy trucks can only get up to gear 3. So having the nitro every turn isn't that bad. The problem is that you have to hit it every turn. And if you're already going in a gear that's really fast, you have to play. I think you have to play a maneuver, and then after the maneuver, hit the nitro. So you need to use the play as kind of like your maneuver to get you pointed where you need to go, and then blast it. So you need to have some maneuverability in your maneuver to point you where you need to go. So if you are in a dragster and you're in like 4th, 5th, God help you, 6th gear. 6th gear, I don't think you can maneuver at all. Really, 5th, you can't maneuver at all. So it's probably a good idea to keep, if you want a maneuvering vehicle, you probably want that skill where you can play something 1 below the gear you're actually in. Because, like, 3, so in other words, like, go into 4th, but then you can play, like, gear 3 things. Because in gear 3, you got some things that you can do some turns, right? Because you're going to hit that nitro every turn, so you're going to get an extra this move on top of whatever you normally have. So you're going to be faster than anybody. So you don't want to get into gear that's like 4th, 5th, or sure, you get to go an extra time, but you're not going to be able to maneuver at all, So with that said, let's work it back. Let's dial it backwards. So let's say we want to go on the high end and make this a 14-point vehicle. This is stuff I haven't thought about at all. So if I'm rambling, I'm just self-coaching, Let's dial it backwards. Okay? 14 is where we want to be at. It costs 5, so that leaves 9 in the middle. And we have two build points. So we're probably not going to have a turreted weapon on it. But if you do something like, put a couple of MGs or something on there. MGs are what, 2? Right? That's reasonable to have a dragster that has 2 machine guns on it. That's 4 points. So that leaves us 5 points worth of perks. So at most, if you want to keep it at 14 points, and you have 2 weapons that are about as cheap as they could be, you could get cheaper weapons than that, but it's not really reasonable. You're going to take 4 points for the MGs. Now you've used up all your build slot, because it's like a crime against humanity to build a car and not use all the build slots. Okay, that leaves you with 10. Well, the base cost of the vehicle is 5. So that's going to leave you 5 points of perks at the most. Now, like I said, you could get build slots that are cheap. You could use 2 build slots for less than 4, but it's not reasonable. Like, I think like caltrop droppers or something like that is like one or two, and then you could do something else that might be one or two. So you could get it to three. Okay, but if you want to stick to 14 points as your max for this light looking vehicle, because they do look very light. At the end of the day, you know, something like a Formula One car looks like, you know, and it can fall apart. So you don't want it to be, a 35 point vehicle or even a 27 point vehicle, because at the end of the day, you're going to have only 4 hull points. All right? Unless you like use armor, then you're using one of the build slots. Whatever. Then you go up to 6. I could see doing maybe one that's 6. But so we're looking somewhere in the range of 5 max for perks. Now, so yeah, I could see one having a couple of machine guns. I could see another one having a smoke dropper and having like a heavy machine gun. I think that's also 4 points. Heavy machine guns 3, smoke droppers 1. But I'm leaving a build slot on the table. Stuff like that. Maybe have a little bit. Maybe that one has less perks. That kind of stuff. You could make one armored. That uses up a build slot and 4 points. And then, put a heavy machine gun on it, which is another 3, and then it just doesn't have a perk or has very little, that kind of stuff. So different plays. There's that perk that lets you clear hazard tokens if you pass a gate. You're assuming it's going to make it to the first gate. I don't know that I actually have a vehicle. I know which one you're talking about. I don't know that I built a vehicle with that perk. And it doesn't mean that it sucks. I'm just saying that that's a very limited perk. That's a very, very limited perk. So, but I don't think if I build a dragster, I don't think I'm going to build one. I think I'll do like 4. We'll build one with the most amount of perks. 5 points worth of perks really means you're going to get 2. Or maybe 1, And, and 2 machine guns. Another one with like a dropper and a bigger gun. Another one with a flamethrower, although I don't know how the fuck you would mount that. Because that's going to be like really useful. Another one that maybe not be armed at all, but the guy's got like got a magnum in it. There's all kinds of different like ways to, they don't need to be that different from each other, because the reality is the difference comes from them looking different, how they're named, and just when they come up with a sequence. I mean, you could have a vehicle that's statistically better than another one in every way. Like, I don't know why you would ever play that one as opposed to this one. But when you pull chits, it gets put in a compromising position where it's just the timing of it. It isn't as good as maybe something else that's just, kind of weak. That's weaker, but it ends up getting to go first kind of thing. So that's at least some thoughts for me to think about going in. Now, this guy. We're just going to call it Golden Oldie right now for the time, because it is an Oldsmobile. Okay? It is a car, which means it's 12 points, 2 build slots. It's got to have an offset machine gun. Sorry, it's part of the dream. I didn't come up with it. Yeah, you did. I didn't pick it. Okay? I'm going to say it's going to be a heavy machine gun. Okay? I can see like an M60. I got an M60 laying around. I don't know if an M60 really is a heavy machine gun, but something like that. Something that looks classic American. Maybe a 30 cal, something like that. Okay? That's going to be 3 points, and it's going to use up a build slot. Okay? Definitely shooting for 27 points. Definitely shooting for a 27-point vehicle. Okay? There's probably going to be a perk in here somewhere. Maybe caltrop dropper on it. This thing has rockets, and I don't think it has much more than rockets. It might have some other perks on there. So I don't have to worry about with this thing. I could put the machine gun on the roof also. It doesn't have to be here on the hood. It needs to be offset though. That's part of the dream. Sorry. Stupid dream. Caltrop dropper. How much is a caltrop dropper? Grenades. This thing looks like it could have grenades. Caltrop dropper. 1 and 1. Okay, what are we at to? 15, 16 points. Grenades is 17. All right, let's go to perks. Not putting a RAM on it. Rams are a bit, I think, unbalancing. If you're playing a game that is Death Race and most cars have a RAM. If you don't have a RAM, it's a big disadvantage. It's a big disadvantage because they basically can fight before their weapons get activated. Now, I haven't played with my intention of changing the rules to the point where when you go through the first turn is when the weapons get activated, not through the first gate. And I think that would make the game better. I could be wrong, but I think it would make the game better. Where? I was right there. All right, let's go to Perklandia. Built. Does it look built? Not necessarily. Daring? Maybe. Slippery. So it's got those big ass freaking wheels. I know this guy does not have the slippery perk. I know it doesn't have it. So I'm just going to put slippery down here. It's a cheap perk. Normally sports cars, zippy things like this are slippery. It's unusual to have some kind of a muscle car on it. It's slippery. But that's why it's got the fucking race tires on it. That's also why it doesn't have up and over. Because it has these race tires on there. Okay, well, technically, if you had cars that have these kind of wheels normally are not very fast, but this is a make-believe land. Slippery is 3. Okay, so now we're at 20. We still got 7 more freaking points. You know, handbrake artist might not be bad either. But I'm just looking at the car. What does this car look like it would have? Stunt driver? No. It doesn't have any horror perks. Military? No, it's not military. Precision? No. Muscle cars and precision, they don't go together. They don't go together. Muscle cars are the opposite of precision. Well, maybe a heavy truck is really the opposite of precision. Outrun, taunt, on your tail, pit, unnerving eye contact. No. All right, Hog Wild. Hog Wild is a useless perk. It's Hog Wild. It gains +2 smash dice if the collision results in a wipeout. So you have to wipe out first and then hit somebody. And then if all that happens, then you get +2. Like, that's very limiting. That's not a good value. Berserker. I don't know. It doesn't look like a Berserker. Slipstream, overload, resolving switch dice during its vehicle may roll additional skid dice. When resolving skid dice during the movement step, this vehicle may roll an additional skid dice. Well, cars are 5/3, so it could. Nah, it's not that. Downshift, no. Time extended, end of the movement phase, vehicle passes race gate. This vehicle, that's the one you're talking about, time extended. We won't save that one. Hell for leather, it's not that fast. Technology, this thing doesn't use technology. Tuning, Momentum. When resolving skid dice, this vehicle may set aside a slide or spin result to re-roll a skid dice. This effect may be used multiple times. Okay, so you roll skid dice and you like to keep some of the stuff. So you set those aside and re-roll the other ones. Obviously you take a hazard for doing so, but you get to keep some of the things. This vehicle doesn't look like it would be that precise. No. So, this game needs more perks. I could create my own, but, a slippery slope. What if I create my own perks and they're great, and then version 3 comes out and it sucks because it doesn't have my perks in it? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I can come up with perks that are good. I mean, not on the first time. I mean, they've got to be tinkered with, I mean, I'm not stupid. I'm not that stupid. I'm a moron, but I'm not stupid. I'm going to go with Handbrake Artist. Slippery Handbrake Artist. That's 17, 20, 23. That leaves me with 4. Isn't there like a shotgun or something like that? I don't want to use the old Magnum. I don't want to keep using... Especially because the other golden car has double Magnums on it. Like, we don't want to use that. What is 4? What's a shotgun? 4. Okay. There's Golden Oldie or something like that. I think sponsors are going away. I never used them. And the reason why I didn't use them is, first of all, I don't like the choice of sponsors that they had. Now, I could have just said, I could just rename them and run them the same, right? Like, I could just take the... what is it, the guys that run the still and stuff like that? Okay, that's Rednicks, obviously, right? But if there's something that's not balanced well in the game, it's the free shit that you get on a team. I don't want to run a team that's my Italian cars. Let's say it's my, Scuderia Rustica, right? And I'm creating my own sponsor for Scuderia Rustica, and all the Scuderia Rusticas get, say, Handbrake Artist on all their vehicles for free. That makes all of the vehicles more like each other. And the fun of it is having all the different pieces to kind of make them work. I'd rather than be associated with what they look or their heritage or something like that more than they all behave a certain way. And I can totally see coming up with a sponsor that is like, man, you never want to use slime, or you always want to use slime, or something like that. It's just, I definitely see it as a weak point, And anyhow, let's find a heavy machine gun for this fucker. Oh, let's go to little boy's room, because I've had 2 cups of coffee, which makes me pee. People claim it does other things. Not to me. I wouldn't drink coffee. It's like, man, you drink a lot of coffee. You must be shitting your pants. I wouldn't drink coffee. Oh, let's go pee. Man, I'm going to get a lot done today. I got the caffeine flowing into me. All right, I'll be right back. it's pretty obvious I'm not going to finish both cars this morning, and that's okay. I think what I'm doing is actually more useful. So, all right, heavy machine guns. What do we got that we can use that really looks the part? We got that M60 we talked about. We got this thing. Haven't used one of those. Got the old 30 cal. Big old Longus Maximus. And this thing. Is that all my candidates? I gotta make a Russian vehicle for. I'm saving those AKs and stuff like that for that. For the red square guys. I really wanted to call it Gremlins from the Kremlin, but you can't even find a Gremlin. Not that I want them all to have that. All right, I don't think this is going to work, and it's not. That does not have the right look I'm looking for. This I think is going to be the winner, but the M60. Yeah. I like that mounted on the roof. It looks like a 50 cal or some version of a 50 cal. All right, let's prime this bitch. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, there are a lot of people that just aren't very creative. And I don't mean like it's a knock. I mean, we're not all good at stuff. I feel like I'm fairly creative. I'm more creative than not. We're not all built the same. I'm not good at like I'm good at math. I'm just not good at like, oh, you're just not good at algebra. No, I'm good at algebra. I'm not good at like make-believe shit. Like theory, anything that's like theory and stuff, that doesn't make sense to me. So like stuff like that I'm not good at. But like for instance, I've seen a lot of people post about, hey, here's my team that I made. And they got 4 vehicles. And they look cool, but they're all exactly the same paint scheme. I would never fucking do that. There's no way ever. I can't think of any situation where I would build 5 vehicles for a team and they would be painted in a similar fashion. I'm just not going to do it. It's boring as hell. Might as well still be painting DBA armies. And I also don't see like, this is my team for slime or something like that, and I play it exactly the same way that the author created it. I just think that's like doing it that takes away one of the fun parts of it for me. Like one of the fun parts for me is just creating my world. I don't want to go and go into somebody else's world. I mean, unless it was like freaking really awesome and interesting, which it isn't. I think I finally killed this. All right, here's the other one that we picked up for a pittance. I mean, I literally got this for like $6. There it is, $6.49. Because they discontinued it at Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby, the land of, hey, we got good shit. Oh, you want that? We're going to discontinue it. I know, they don't do it on purpose. There's other things behind. Ah, look at that. But it just seems like there's a whole lot of people that are under creative. I don't know. That's just a big appeal to me, is just to create my world. And it's, like I've said before, I don't need to go to space. This planet Earth that we all live in has enough interesting stuff in it that you can pull from. So the obvious thing for me is like nationalism. And I don't mean that in a, we're going to march into Poland kind of thing. I just mean that it's like, countries, right? You have Asians driving Asian cars, Italians driving Italian cars. It just makes sense to me. That's how I think. You know, that's a logical tie-in. And maybe other people aren't creative when it comes to that, but like I've never played Warhammer 40K, but orcs in space, really? That's stupid. The Space Marines, fine, and I'm just gonna spout things off because I don't know. I don't know I don't know the universe, right? But I'm fine with like those Tyranids and like alien looking stuff, but like elves in space, it's stupid. It's stupid for me. Squats, like, no, there should be humans and other creatures that are not even similar to humans that are. I don't have a problem like building like I don't. What is it? Is it Tyranids? Yeah, it's those guys that go in like, okay, that makes sense, right? Like there's a tie-in, but it should be like humans against those other things. I'm not a fan of all this. I'm not a fan of the weird races. The only race I like is the human race. Trolls and humanity's interesting enough. Like people that go and they play. Like I played World of Warcraft for a year or so. Like it never occurred to me to build somebody that wasn't human. Like why would I want to play a non-human character? I just don't like being a person. I don't know. Maybe it's just the irony. Man, this thing looks good. All right. Are we going to cover up any of the stuff on there? Well, I think I want to put the window on. I think we want to put the windows on it. And I'm fine with them being this color. You just frost them. That's going to go on the roof. I have very little mesh, and no, I didn't do what I was supposed to, and I'm not going to armor it because this one's armored all around it. This one's not going to be, just to mix it up a little bit. We'll put the 50 or whatever the hell that thing is on the roof. What else does it have? Caltrop dropper. I could pretend it's there. I don't need to make droppy looking things. So really, that's all it fucking needs. I mean, I don't need to, put spikes and stuff on it. I don't want to put stuff on it that it doesn't use. Like I don't like putting spikes and stuff on the side. And then, does it have a side ram? No, it's just for looks. I'm like, that's just confusion. You've been working on that custom GPT that takes your car info and puts it into a vehicle player card for you. I messed with it a little bit, and it was like, I just can't. I messed, and it's not that I'm not a patient person, because I do really consider myself. I mean, am I a patient person? I guess it depends on what it is. I'm patient if I see progress. If I don't see progress and I feel like I'm spinning my wheels, painting, even if it's slow, the process of doing it is therapeutic. The process of working on electronic shit and it going slow or not getting anywhere is not therapeutic at all. It's the opposite. It's enraging. I'm just not programmed that way. And it's not that I'm not patient, but I gotta like get little morale boosters along the way. Like little personal morale boosters. Like if I'm painting 15 millimeter figures, I don't want to paint 32 fucking guys. Because, you start, what did you do the first day? I just primed them. Okay. The next day, what did you get done? one color of like sandal. You know, it takes you like two weeks. I'm right. It takes you a week to see something complete, and you have to stay motivated during that whole time, and hopefully you don't burn out before you get to something of value that shows up. If you're painting an individual figure in a 3-hour session, you're done, and you could see like, oh good, I got this guy done, you know. That is a turn signal, is it not? Oh, and there's one down here that's not pictured on it. Well, I'm not gonna add it on there. Let's get this craft orange is honestly the best orange for this. You know, we're all different. I work with some people that they don't care if they do it right the first time. I'm like, if there's a chance of me doing it wrong, I'd rather not do it because it just creates more work for me. I mean, at some point, you gotta, shit or get off the pot. But what I'm saying is I'd rather do things right the first time. This is primer. This is primer down here. Otherwise, I'd use that. Primer behaves a little odd. But I'm all about, countries and nationalism and stuff like that. It makes sense to me. Like, that's why, like, even though we're watching this Formula One thing, part of the appeal is people from different countries, not just all Americans. Like, I'd never watch, like, NASCAR. Well, first of all, there's not a NASCAR game to play. And even if there was, you're going around in a fucking circle over and over again. Like, I don't want it. That's boring as shit. But, like, Indy... And didn't they just do an Indy race in DC or whatever? Like, I looked at it. It looked like fucking go-karts, man. They were all like bouncy and shit like that. They looked like, we made them in shop class or something like that. It looked really lame. And it's like America only. Like, boring. Says you have a message. You select the option that shows you the fields required. You fill those in and upload a picture. It should give you something back. I'm going to try that tonight. I'm going to try that tonight. I'm going to try it on my computer too. Because, the phone is great for lots of things. And everybody has a really powerful phone. But sometimes you're like a giant would think, well, I will take a look at it. What we got here? I'll take a look at it. Page not found. I got this. I got a 404. Donnez-moi des idées pour utiliser des dessins de... Yeah. I think having a picture in the vehicle is huge. Because you can, like, if you're running multiple vehicles, you can, like, quickly find which car you have. Because I'm telling you, it's really easy to make mistakes when you're playing. So that keeps the mistakeness down. Damn ChatGPT! We have a don't use it for other than hobby stuff, and I don't even use it that much. I'm gonna go ahead and weather this. I don't use it for that much stuff, but we have an unusual situation that's happening on Monday. I'm sending someone across the country to deliver in a vehicle that is going to one of our other plants, and it's going to stay at that other plant, right? And the vehicle is not just a car; it is a commercial vehicle, and you got to get permits, because we have too much in federal imperial government. You got to get permits for all the states that you're going in. What a pain in the ass! And like one of the states, you actually can't buy the permit ahead of time. You have to pay for it at the border. Said state is Colorado. And another one of the permits they won't allow us to get because we'd have to change our business from being intrastate to interstate, and we're not going to do that. So we got to avoid like go to Colorado without going through Kansas. So we're going to have to go through the tippy tip of Oklahoma. So I'm like, okay, I'll use ChatGPT, build me a route going through these states and give me some, so I can, but I'm not just going to hand that to the driver. Like, I need to look at it and see that it makes fucking sense. Like, I'm fine using AI, but you have to trust but verify. Maybe trust is maybe the wrong word for it. It's not that I don't trust it, but it's prone to make human errors. Or prone to make human errors. It's you gotta know what you're looking at. You gotta get an answer and then be smart enough that you realize when it gives you something that's incorrect, to realize that it's incorrect and not just drive off a cliff with it. So I'm all for using it, but I also I don't treat it the way my wife treats Waze. Oh, it says to go this way. I'm like, it doesn't make any fucking sense to go this way. Like, Waze is good for cops. Is there, something in the middle of the road? Is there traffic up ahead and I have to take a detour? But telling me how to get to Orlando, I don't need you to get creative with that. I'll look at them I'm not taking them shit ass little roads. So, again, use your brain. That's why you were created with a brain. Whether you believe that or not, We're not going to use the Hoffman brushes for this stage because this is too sloppy for the Hoffman brushes. But the hot glue gun is really fucking amazing. And here's what I mean about the hot glue gun being amazing. I end up squirting some of this back there and then using, while it was still hot, this almost like a spackle to cover over things that obviously look like it was plastic. You don't want this to look like a plastic vehicle. It's not supposed to be a toy. It is a toy, but, it needs to look like a real vehicle. Scaled down. That's why I don't want this huge Hot Wheels logo on it, because it's not really... it's a Hot Wheels, but the original one isn't. The one you're trying to portray is not. Alright, well... Alright, we'll grab it from here. So, I don't mind AI. It's a good thing to use to help you make a decision. You don't have to, take its word for it. It's just something to consider. That's all, It seems like ChatGPT disabled sharing custom GPTs. Erg. Maybe I can help you create your own by copying and pasting mine. Maybe. I'm not in a hurry, so don't kill yourself for that. I'm not going to play anytime soon. I appreciate it and everything, and you know more about that than I do, but I told you I fooled with it a little bit, and man, you can really burn through some fucking time on that. You fool with something like that for a little bit, and the next thing you know, 2 hours have gone by and you didn't get anything done. And you know what's worse than AI? People that anytime they see something that's AI, they use the term AI slop. Okay, you can say you don't like AI, it's going to take over the world, whatever. But when you start using the same playbook terminology that nobody ever used about anything else, then you're reading from a fucking playbook and you're being indoctrinated. Slop is not a weird word, right? But people that say AI slop didn't use the word slop for a decade before they read somewhere that the cool thing to say is that it's AI slop. So when you say AI slop, it's like you're just basically like an ant. You know. I'm okay with people disagreeing with it, but when you start using the same, it's like the talking points that people do on political shit. You know, everybody just regurgitates the same shit they're told. Like, dude, think for yourself, right? You maybe use different terminology, you know, but when you start like cutting and pasting stuff, you know. Call it something else. Call it anything else. And I don't have a problem with it. I use it in my stuff, but I admit that I used it. Like, I made my signs. I'm not going to paint a fucking sign out of nowhere. I mean, that would take me 200 fucking hours. You know, I don't have time for that. I'm not going to take credit for it either. I'll even say, look, this thing's amazing. I told it to do 2 things and it did all this. I'm not like, look what I created. No, I created the fucking, the thing out of sticks and a hot glue gun. That's what I do, you know? And I could paint not to that level. But I also don't have 300 hours to throw for one fucking sign. You know, like it's perfect for that. I would be stupid to not use it for that. You know? But I also don't take credit for other people's shit. That's just me personal. You know? So I don't have a problem with it. Then I wish it was never created? I don't know. I wish the nuclear weapons were never created. That was a fucking mistake. That's probably the worst thing that was ever created. Think, oh, social media is terrible. Nuclear weapons is the worst thing. There's nothing worse than nuclear weapons. Bad fucking idea. Bad fucking idea. I told you I would make it, and I saw where they might be taking away custom GPT, so I wanted to try it and finish it. Well, you're in the knowledge of that. All right, now we're going to use the Hoffman brushes. Yes, they're named after you. It's your fault I'm using it. I'm not taking credit for your shit. It could be the most brilliant thing in the world. People need to be rewarded for coming up with good ideas. Not like, oh, well, I'm not going to come up with anything because they're just going to take it away from me. Not me. I have other faults. Just like I would hope that, you know, when people get an idea from what I do, they don't go, yeah, I came up with using this for the first time. I mean, I do say that I came up with using hand sanitizer to clean brushes. I'm sure someone else has done it before me. I didn't watch their video. They should have done a better job of marketing in a video. You know? It's not like I'm making any money off of it. You know, when you find something cool, share it with other people, man. It might help some people out. We've all gotten free ideas from things that we've saw on the internet. Might as well be helpful. what I think is really good about AI is when you speak to it, and I'm sure it gets better every time you use it, but when you speak to it, it doesn't make any fat-fingered typing mistakes in speech to writing it down. It is really good about writing everything you say. Like, really good. Which is good because you don't have to go back and correct it. No, I meant this word. It's really good about that. So I've started using search functions because Mitch used to use them for the longest time. Mitch would go 10 years ago. Mitch would speak into his phone, and I don't know whether he had a speech impediment or the technology wasn't advanced enough, but he would have to correct what he wanted to say 12 times before he could like do his proper search. Like, okay, fuck that. I'm typing it, right? That's just, but now it's like I can just speak into it and it gets it right basically every time. So I'm like, all right, well now we're going to use it. Yeah, these brushes make the dry brushing that was already turning out well to turn out even weller. I meant to say more well. I could get by without them, but they make the whole experience that much better. And it doesn't seem like they're getting worn very badly. I'm also being careful with them. You know, I don't want to. You know, they're not expensive, but they're a pain to have to. I don't want to reorder shit. You know, I don't want to reorder shit. All right, this thing dry? It is. All right. Let's rinse this guy. How we doing on time? Maybe we'll get this guy done. I'm going to build some drag races. Yeah. Who cares if they aren't any good in the game? You know, you make it so people all have to have one, and then everybody sucks. We all suck together. This one, the square one, they're great, man. Thanks for turning me on to them. It's funny you said, I hope I didn't make you waste your money. You went, come on, man. You knew it wasn't a waste of money. The only thing I don't like about them, it's not this one. It's the round one. Like, the metal doesn't taper at all. So, you know, you've got like this brush, and the metal that keeps the bristles together is like the same diameter from the back all the way to the front. It works just fine. It's just really weird, like, what's going on here, you know? You know what I'm talking about. It's like, this is not a very good quality brush, or what makes it seem like, you know, like it's a really bad, but they're great. They're really durable. You know, I'm also being careful with them. I try to be careful with stuff. Sometimes you botch things up. Also shouldn't be a product that's super persnickety. Alright, now it's got a little gun shield. I'm going to paint the gun shield a military-like color. Like they just lifted this from the compound and put it on this freaking car. I don't want it to be a color that really clashes with this. but I also don't want a color that's going to get lost. So, let's go over here to Drabland. What do we got here? Not yellow green. I don't know. Oh, that was weird. I snapped my own neck. No, not contrast CF. I want it to have some green. Maybe like Russian green. U.S. olive drab. That might work. And I'm not picking it necessarily because that's the official U.S. olive drab color, because it isn't. All right, we're going to need our buddies here. This dries out so quick. My black buddy. What'd you call me? And my white buddy. You have to go soon. The GPG seems to be working mostly. Sometimes it doesn't make the image, and you have to say, make the image, you idiot. I like that you get angry, that you like talk back to technology. I do that all the time. I have this program at work that I don't want to use. It's a Microsoft Access type product, and the thing is glitchy as fuck. And it's one of those things that so much is shoehorned into it that I hate the fact when it's like, you know exactly what it needs to say and you can't get it to say that because it's been shoehorned. And I talk back to that son of a bitch all the time. And I don't call it nice things. You know, and it's just frustrating that technology should make your life easier. If it does not, it should never have been invented. And the fact that you were doing something at a certain pace and they bring some new technology, and instead of it making you more efficient, it basically takes something that took 10 minutes, now take an hour. And it's just really frustrating. Not a good use of time. Technology should make your life easier, not more complicated. People that work for you, people that provide a service for whatever it is that you're doing, should make your life. They shouldn't create more problems for you. You know, it'd be like if your AC's not working, right? So you call the AC repairman. What does he do? You pay him money, and he fixes your problem, and now you have less problems. Not like you call the AC repairman. You have to pay him, and he comes in and he breaks 4 other things. That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. You know, you're trading money for a problem solving. If you come in and you create more problems for me, fuck you. In a basic term, you know, like. That's how it should work. I'm gonna have to look at that this evening. And I don't know that I'm gonna be able to get done with this morning, but it'll be really close. And I think some people are surprised that I don't really modify some vehicles. Like, look, if they've got tampos, I actually had to look up. Somebody said something about tampos. What the fuck is tampos? No, I don't use. It's not that time of the month for me to use tampos. You know, these pre-done decals. Yeah, some of the decals are pre-done. Like it's a crime against humanity to cover them up. Now, if you get 3 of the same vehicle and you want to repaint them, that's different. Okay, but at least leave one in with a normal livery. In the normal livery. I'm actually going to put it over the driver's side because the racking thing is, you know, you don't want to put that in the middle of the roof. Like, how are you going to get up there and, you know, rack it again? And we just need to make sure that it's off the one side. The dream didn't say which side it was off of. It wasn't that specific. Federal Republic of Glulandia. What's up, Justin? No work. Oh, you don't? Do you not work Fridays, you fucker? I have a doctor's appointment, so I got to go to that. It's later than, you know, doctors don't go to work as quick as I keep saying I'm in construction, but I'm really in manufacturing. Manufacturers go to work early. This whole thing like, I work 9 to 5. Who the fuck gets to work at 9? That's almost lunchtime. Exaggerating a little bit, but. If you don't work Fridays and you also don't work weekends, I want a job application. You don't work Fridays or weekends? All right, send me a job application. I don't mind working. I didn't mind working weekends when I had the job that I didn't mind going to work for. When I work at the hobby store, I that's all I worked was weekends, and I didn't mind because, well, that was the only time they needed me. So, but I liked that job. It just didn't pay the bills. Banks start at 9. I don't have a use for banks. If they closed all banks now, yay. Like, banks are like another attorney. Like, I don't need those people. You know, they can just do away with banks, attorneys. Well, you need attorneys. No, you don't. You just need to go back to doing duels. There's going to be a duel at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you know. I think what I'm going to do is we're going to frost this first. See if I like it. Then put it in there. Then glue the thing shut. Because right now, it's looking a little bit shitty because it's all like glossy and nothing else is glossy. But I'm pretty sure that the window will look good, just from my experience. But this thing is looking fucking sexy. This is looking fucking sexy. And it's a complete repaint because this thing looked like a melted asshole. This thing looked... Let's take a photo of this. Oh, let's get rid of that. Way too glossy. Okay, so this looked like this first. Oh. God, that paint is thick. It's like bad pink fingernail polish. And now we've stripped it, removed the wheels. the wheels, I didn't mind those wheels. They just look very similar to Redneck Riviera. And I'd want those wheels to use for something else. And this is similar to a real paint scheme with the black in the places that the real car would have. It's an Oldsmobile 442. I actually had a dream about this car on Monday. I had a dream about this car as a Gaslands vehicle. It wasn't like I had a dream about, I don't know what the hell an Olds 442 is. I go up and I'm like, what the fuck is it? I look it up in bed. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't think I have one of those. And I did. I had one. And I didn't remember I had one. So that's why we're doing this vehicle. And it looks, I mean, muscle cars are the best vehicles for Gaslands, without a doubt, in my opinion. You know? Name it the melted asshole. No, I probably should have a car have the melted asshole. I say that enough. That's a Tonyism right there, a melted asshole. Now this is Golden Oldie. It's an Oldsmobile. It is a car with a heavy machine gun, caltrop dropper, grenades, with the slippery and handbrake artist perk, and the driver or co-driver has a shotgun, also. So it's dissimilar. We haven't put rust on it and everything. Yeah, I can't get it done, but it'll be done this evening, hopefully. But really liking it. Really, really, really liking it. I mean, I don't mind the make-believe cars, but the real cars are nice too. The real cars are nice too. I do have to cut 2.2 acres of grass today on a ride lawnmower. I'd rather go to work, thank you. I don't. 2.2 acres, yeah. I got one. The house sits on one. And I had a third. And 1 acre just takes too long. I don't want to waste my weekends doing that. And let's be honest, I don't need to get any more sun. I get enough sun from work, from being at work. So I don't need to be outside anymore than I already am. But yeah. Real happy with this Oldsmobile. Really, really happy with it. So, all right. Well, this was a long session. I appreciate you guys coming by and saying hi. We'll be on later this evening when I get back from the salt mines. And like I said, I had a doctor's appointment this morning. I still do. In about an hour or so. So, there's no point in going to work and being there 20 minutes and leaving to go to the doctor. So, we'll see you guys this evening. Take care, enjoy riding around, and we'll see you guys on the next one.